All right. I'm gonna go over today, and then I'm gonna go over um, yesterday as well. So I'm gonna do that first because yesterday should have been a win, and today was a loss. That actually counted. At first it said break even, but all right. So replay. Okay. Actually, so going into Monday, the reason I did not take a trade was because I was in a new area. I did not have my full setup. I just had my laptop, and I'm not used to trading split screen to where I have to switch tabs, and I also didn't have my micro numbers in front of me on a sheet of paper. I have all the micro math here so that I can quickly adjust my position limit to risk 500. So what happened here? Well, going into the day on Monday, I could see that we were in a higher time frame moneymaker buy model to where the finishing price would be here or even these highs here, I think. Yeah, even these highs here. And then I saw that we also had this 15-minute gap. And then we have a small gap on ES that I wanted to see manipulated. As you can see, it is very small, but on price, you can definitely find this small 15-minute gap. It's very obvious right here. And then also I have this low here, and also the 30-minute. So what did I want to see happen? Obviously, we are in an uptrend. We have inspection out of this area as well. And on ES, on the 30-minute, we have all this low resistance liquidity that I wanted to see ran because what are we? And we're in a moneymaker buy mode. So what did I want to see happen? I wanted to see price trade lower into this premium gap to then send price higher. So what ends up happening? We end up trading higher off open. This 30-second honestly was very good. Why? Because you trade up, take liquidity out of a gap, you get immediate reversal. However, this was like you're trading in both agreed upon conditions. So what do I want to see? I want to see possibly this get hit to then go lower. However, I'm more confident in bullish structure, so I would want to see this get hit to then go higher rather than this get hit to then go lower, which my only target or my break-even / target would be here. Risk reward just doesn't make sense. You immediately go take it. However, you get an immediate reversal. I wanted to see the 30-second here. I was going to go long here. Again, I didn't have my micro size. I didn't want to risk a certain amount to then just blow my whole account. So I would have done this to then 72. There's a nice target up here, 30-second gap right here to get an earlier entry. So I think your entry is more like down here. And then you target the 1-to-1. And then price easily hits your 1-to-1, comes back down, and then continues up to all-time highs, at least on here. You also have an SMT at these lows, or these lows. So what is this? This is like a 1-minute comp. And then this is a higher time frame comp. Well, ES also manipulates the 15-minute gap. So you're manipulating price in the 15-minute gap with a higher time frame draw, which is all-time highs and higher time frame structure. Why didn't I take it? I wasn't at my setup. I didn't want to risk more than I was supposed to. And then I kind of just stayed off the charts because we were kind of just in this range where I wanted to see higher prices but we didn't, just end up edging all-time highs and then just continue lower. So yeah, then we can go to, alright, so I'm going to go to today. Today was a little tricky, in the sense of I feel like we were trading in between range, or a weird range basically. So alright, okay, so going into the day, what do we have? Let me go to 9:15. So yeah, 9:15. What do I see here? I see alright, so my condition was going to be this 15-minute gap at 8:15. Why? Because it is a nice gap, following trend, and we had all this low resistance right here that I wanted to see price possibly go for. We also had an unmitigated 4-hour on ES that I wanted to see price go for. However, I was noticing this daily candle in a huge, or daily liquidity in a huge daily gap. However, we closed on the 4 and we are very bearish. This shouldn't matter if you're looking for shorts. So I was looking for this 15-minute off market open. What happens? We get an immediate distribution and then longs. Why are these kind of valid? Again, you're seeing the same structure over and over again. You're seeing longs, low resistance liquidity, a 30-second gap. You could easily target like this. Again, 70 points, but you need to have conviction in this daily gap and this LLR to get ran, which I do. However, what did I want to see? I wanted to see what we usually see, or honestly what we see a good bit, which is price. I wanted to see price generate all this liquidity and then right at this 15-minute get an inverse. That's exactly what I was waiting for. Why didn't I take this? Well, ES wasn't even really close to inversing the gap. We are just kind of slowly chopping up. ES finally hits it. I would have liked to see a 1-minute inversion right here just to confirm that we are bearish. We did not get it because we are just slowly chopping around, and then we end up going higher. So I'm like, all right, this we're getting a rebalancing move. What did I do wrong today? Well, at 10 o'clock, 4-hour gap opens up, and we go ahead and have a nice PO3. What do? At 10 o'clock, we manipulate, or we accumulate, we manipulate higher, and then we get lower price out of this 4-hour. This is probably one of your better trades of the day. However, I'm not going to take this just because we are just accumulating. I ended up probably taking a worse setup though. 9:30, we manipulate into this 15-minute gap. This, honestly, at this point, is going to be a protected high. Why? Because we are getting a distribution from this 4-hour gap at my stop loss. So now we are seeing lower prices. What happens? We end up not coming back to this gap at all. We haven't even returned to it. So what does that tell me? That tells me that we are going lower. 10 a.m. power 3. Why would I try and fade that? I should be off of the charts by now. 10:30 gives me a nice, in my opinion, kind of pattern trade. where we manipulate right at 10:30 into this 15-minute gap, put it in an SMT, and then we get this high time frame 30-second IFVG, where we get price to do this. I put my stop here, went in with 2 micros, and then I risked a nice little 1-to-1, just like that. And as you can see, it immediately fails. This is me just trading in chop. Again, I think I should have been done after price has this huge move higher, but I can't. I wanted to force a trade. Honestly, not a bad trade. We're following the trend. We have low resistance here. However, I can't go against a higher time frame gap. Again, if we had liquidity above and no 4-hour gap, you take this. However, we are rejecting out of a 4-hour gap with price being very bearish. And I knew that this is honestly just a forced setup. Took it, locked out my account. It's honestly not that big of a loss. So $300 loss, a lot smaller than my normal setups. And then we start printing. What should I have done in this scenario? If I really wanted to take a trade, I should have waited for a 15-minute gap to open up or a 30-minute gap to open up to then take continuation. It's out of this because now we have a sponsored 5-minute and we are going lower. We are slowly printing lower price. Do we open up ever a 15-minute? No, we do not. What can you see? Price rebalances in this range, and then we just go lower. So yeah, that's a day. That's a no trade, which should have been a win, and then a loss. I feel like I wouldn't have taken the loss if I took a win yesterday, but again, can't go wrong with that. I just need to do better, not force anything like that, because then I would be one step closer to passing my first funded, which shouldn't matter. But only A+ setups, only execute what you see and know what is good and what is not. All right, peace.